Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got full rockin' my piano out there.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Oh, this hard got network being this good.
One more again, see what I take on your front set, I swear.
You ain't my daddy, are you?
There's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
What time is it? Game time.
Okay, welcome again to the Don't Be Blasé podcast. We are coming to you live from the House of Pain, otherwise known as Snap Fitness in the Adelaide CBD. I am your host, B. Caruana, joined as always by my man, Steve Burrows.
Hello.
Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Larry and Lad. Go see the boys in Region Arcade, get yourself an awesome coffee and listen to some pretty sweet tunes. But for now, on with the show. Now, as has become almost as synonymous with our show as the intro, we have the wonderful world of the greenery known as Lawn Chat.
Are we gonna do? We're gonna have a theme music, or
Oh,
can we
we-
create one right now? Let's call it like. Let's do it like. It's gonna be like mellow sounds, is it, or is it gonna? What's it gonna be?
I don't know, I think we might, I don't know, sound like a lawnmower, maybe some, like...
Is it gonna be a ring, or?
Well, I don't know if you're allowed to do the ring with your... I don't know if there's a sound effect for plugging something into the wall and turning the light switch on.
Yeah.
But I think we'll come up with something. I think a man, Big J, from last week, he said he's knocking something up for us. So we may have sound effects. Don't hold us to anything, guys, but we may have sound effects for Lawn Talk. So, but yeah, Steve.
We're pretty exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Let us know about the lawn.
All right. So basically, I got out the front because we had a long weekend.
Yes.
I think I talked about this last week. We had a long weekend, so and I actually had an extra long weekend. I had Tuesday off.
Oh, wow.
So no one was at home on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I was able to sneak out,
Get the front, a little comb.
get a bit of a combing, and it looks primo.
Yeah?
Let me tell you. But the one thing that is bugging me, and this is the one thing I wanted to bring up today, is our next door neighbour.
Yeah.
Now he's got this real thick, coarse,
Yeah.
and I don't know, it might be a buffalo or some sort. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is,
Talk that dirty talk, Steve.
it's coming into my lawn.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So there's a
And-
bit of cross-pollination.
Yeah, and it's coming up, and I'm now.
So
I
you
what to
don't,
do.
you're saying you don't like the darker ones, grasses, mixing with your lighter grasses. Is that what
Don't
you're
make
saying?
this into a. I'm just saying. Yeah, I've noticed it because what I did, I mowed it down.
Yeah.
You know, and I do like going pretty low, and I noticed that this filthy looking leaf of a fucking lawn has popped through on
On your side.
on my side on 3 or 4 occasions, and I'm not happy.
All
I'm
right.
not happy at all. And the only thing that separates us, my lawn from his lawn, is a piece of, I guess it's a 2x4 kind of long plank.
Yep, set up, yeah.
And he didn't even one day it just appeared in between our lawns, and he didn't even
Stake it in, yeah.
stake it in. So it just falls over now.
Ah, right.
So there's no protection.
No protection.
No,
No.
It's a filthy STD of lawn is in my fucking.
So basically,
the holiness of holy
the
lawn.
edge of the front has got a little bit of the herb.
It does, and it's filthy, and I hate looking at it. So I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should be knocking on his door and
Well, I think
please explain.
we
or
might
what?
need a photo. Might want to chuck it up. We've got a few lawn experts out there,
Yeah.
so they might be able to identify what it is and identify this weed.
Yeah.
And how we can eradicate this problem. You know, this is why we need your help, guys. This is why we do Lawn Talk. We've been told it's very popular. We need your feedback.
Yeah.
Not just photos of Brett's lawnmower, which does look exceptional, by the way, mate. But we do need some help on Steve's current issue. What is this? Well, we'll get a photo up.
Yeah, I'll get a
And
photo.
then we need you guys to decipher what is it? What can be done to solve it? And should darks never mix with lights? Because I think that's the case that Steve wants to get across here. He's using this whole analogy of lawn
It's not lawn at
to
all.
try to get some sort of ethnic cleansing going on. But, we'll move away from there from now. And speaking of something else, is also becoming a bit of a serial pest.
Yeah.
Your man, Conor McGregor.
My man.
Yeah, I just threw him in your
Yeah, I was gonna say, certainly not my man.
I
I actually always go for the guy against Conor McGregor.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
One of those guys.
Yeah, I think he's very entertaining.
Yes.
I'm still, and it's hard because he's a double champion now, but I do question his ability. I question his greatness.
Yes.
I don't think he's great. I think he's, had some hand-picked opponents. He did knock out Aldo, which was very impressive.
Yep.
He beat up Eddie Alvarez, which I just think was a bad matchup for Eddie Alvarez. But I still doubt. He's not Anderson Silva.
No, definitely not. Yeah, no, I don't think he's Anderson Silva.
Not John
I don't
Jones,
think he's John Jones.
He's not. He beat Aldo, but he's still not up there. But anyway, so I do like his antics, but this latest stuff has just gone too far.
Well, what we're talking about today is that everyone would have seen it. It's happening on Friday as we record this. Him throwing a whole bunch of stuff at a bus full of UFC fighters in the state of New York and injuring several fighters. Well, one fighter especially got some glass in the face, and he's been pulled from his fight.
Yeah.
And then now, because of that, there's been 3 fights pulled off the card for Saturday. So by the time this comes out, obviously the fight card would have gone ahead.
Yep.
But as of when we're recording this right now, he's looking like a massive fucking novice.
He's a jerk, man. So there was obviously that, I think is Chiesa, his name is. He got glass in the face. Another lightweight guy, he got glass in the eye.
Yeah.
So he's in the hospital. And then his teammate, the one that's sort of like in the corner of this debacle, he's been just pulled from the match because of his association.
Well, that's fair enough. And the thing is, he made $100 million on the fight with Mayweather, and that's all well and good, but he's going to get sued for a large chunk of that very, very soon, because you think about all the people that can come at him for loss of earnings. It's the UFC could sue him because he's damaged their card, they can say, look, because of this, it's going to go shorter, therefore we can't fit XYZ ad in there.
Yeah. And
they can sue him for ad revenue. There's a lot of, he just thinks he's been untouchable because everything he's done has been acceptable. Well, quote unquote acceptable because of who he was.
Yeah.
But they're at the stage now where he's becoming, this is the problem where you can't give people too much power because some people, it would just go to their head. I mean, It's the same thing they said with, completely off topic, with Michael Jackson. One of the things that the major issue with Michael Jackson is after he made Thriller, no one wanted to ever tell him no again because he was so brilliant and so genius and made so many people so much money that they just said, no, he's obviously on a higher plane than everybody else, so we'll just hold him up there and not give him any rules.
Yeah.
You can't have that. No person can do that. No one is infallible. Everyone needs some sort of rules, boundaries and stuff like that. And this guy's been able to run around, and I've been a fan, even though he's just a blatant rip-off of Ric Flair.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
And I've always had this thing where lightweight guys are like, I'm the best fighter in the world. It's like, you're the best fighter in the world against other guys that also weigh 70 kilos.
Yeah.
So I've never really taken to... I enjoy watching the lighter weight fights and the middleweights and that sort of stuff. But then I always look at it and just go, well, could he beat Brock? Probably not. So shut up.
No.
Could he beat Cain Velasquez back in the day? Probably not. So I always go for the heavyweight guys. It's maybe the wrestler in me, engineered to sort of support the bigger person.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at boxing right now, the little guys like Golovkin and Canelo, that fight's been pulled.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're still 2 little guys, even though they're great fighters and they've been incredible. I'm not as drawn to go watch them, but if Deontay Wilder actually gets to fight with Anthony Joshua for the heavyweight title, I'm going to the pub to watch that. I'll even buy it because that's the heavyweight title.
It's a clash
so
of
much
times,
more prestigious.
man. Yeah, you got big boys going at it. Yeah.
So that's the thing. As much as I've enjoyed watching Conor McGregor and, he'll fight anybody, whatever, blah, 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 blah. He is a bit of the great white hype, but I just, as far as a middleweight guy, it's just like a little guy. I just don't get him as being like, oh, I'm the best fighter in the world. No one can touch me. It's like, they can.
Yeah. And they'll touch you up however they want to.
Exactly.
Where do you put him in now, the scumbags? Because obviously John Jones is pretty scumbaggy.
Yeah, he's gone well past scumbaggy. This is he's gone to the other one, the cuntbag.
Yeah.
That, because it's okay. John Jones, he fucked over DC.
Yes.
With his antics, beating him and that sort of stuff, but testing positive and, pulling out of fights because he tested positive. That fucked over one person.
What about the running the car into the pregnant lady? That was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But he also saved a lady too. Remember, there was before one title fight. This is a few years ago too.
Okay.
He actually did a good Samaritan act and did save, so he's balancing himself out. But for the most part, his issues are fairly self-destructive.
Oh, gee,
I'm always for a self-destructive scumbag.
Yeah.
But the problem with Conor is he's just fucking it up for everyone. You know, and like I said, I don't mind getting drunk and I can be a dick and I don't mind writing myself off. But if I'm the guy that's now drunk and yelling at everybody else and ruining the party for everyone else, that's when I become a fuckhead.
Yeah.
And that's what he's done. He's not just like the guy that's just crashing out the corner because he's had too much. He's now ruining it for everybody else. And that's the major issue I have with him.
Oh, and I couldn't agree with you more. And we have...
Don't agree with me, Steve. It's ruining the base of the show. We can talk about wrestling again. We'll start fighting again.
What do you want me to say, man? Because you're spot on, man. The dude is a dick.
Yeah.
He's or a sea bag, or whatever they called him. Yeah, what can I say? Like I said, I always liked the other guy. I was always going for the other guy, but I really enjoyed his promos. I really enjoyed his quick-wittedness. You know, he always knew what to say. But now this, larger than the sport dude, it's just... I've been saying for a while, it's just going to get to the point where Dane's like, fuck it. We got Brock Lesnar coming over.
But that's the thing, like, now, with all this, who have been the biggest draws in the UFC history? Going back to the start. You had Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
You had the Gracies. You had... this is just one that popped me. Dan Seven.
Okay.
But, but then you had, like, your Tito Ortiz's and that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Chuck Liddell's, Randy Couture's.
Yep.
And Vitor Belfort, that sort of stuff. But... now it's like there doesn't seem to be those many sort of big name guys. There doesn't seem to be people that are bigger than the sport.
No, well, Silva obviously he's in trouble.
Anderson Silva was one, and now he's gone.
GSP, he's not. There's not scheduled any fights anymore.
Exactly.
He's sick.
John Jones is one. He's gone.
Rousey.
Rousey's gone. And there's no real there's Mighty Mouse, but that's like I said once again, it's a little guy, and it's not going to draw a big house, even though his fights are incredible to watch.
Very skilled, and he does amazing things, but he's not the...
It's not a draw card.
No, he's not going to get the casual viewer in.
To get back in, the biggest views they've ever had have been Rousey fights, and I think the second is Lesnar.
Yeah.
Now, if Lesnar wants to come back, after what happened today, he's going to send... He's the only person that's probably hasn't been fucked over by Conor, because... now he can just go, hey, Danny, that paycheck? Yeah, put another zero on it.
Exactly.
Because you need me more than I need you.
Yeah.
Because who else do they really have? I'm not a devout MMA guy.
Yep.
I've always been MMA. I've defended MMA over boxing. But at the moment, like I said, there is more boxing fights that I want to see than there are MMA fights. And that's been years. Like I've had yelling matches with people about the difference between boxing and boxing's dying and this and that. But it's come to the stage where there's actually some more entertaining names in boxing than there are in MMA.
Yeah, well, look, I do like MMA. I watch MMA a lot, and there's very skilled people out there. But like any form of entertainment, there has to be a charisma involved. There has to be, and that's why Brock Lesnar was so. Even though he wasn't like a mic guy.
No, he's not a talker, but there's something about him. You see him and you want to watch whatever he's going to do. Yeah.
Exactly. And then Conor McGregor was a talker, and Ronda Rousey was so unbelievable that people, she was so impressive and turned heads that people tuned in to watch. Now there's so many skilled fighters, and I think they're trying to fill that void. They're trying to be that trash talker, but Conor McGregor is like a one in a million.
Yeah.
Well, and not everyone can do what he does.
Sometimes you're just going to take the right and copy from the right thing.
Yeah.
Like they say that Hulk Hogan completely ripped off superstar Billy Graham, took it to the next level.
Yeah.
I just feel that as much as Ric Flair ripped off Nature Boy Buddy Rogers and took it to the next level, Connor's ripped off Ric Flair again, and he's taken it into a real fighting arena, and that works. Same way Ali ripped off Gorgeous George and took his talk, his chat, and took it to the next level. That's fine. I'm all for you doing that, but you've also you've got to be marketable, but you've also got to be able to be able to perform.
Yeah.
He's got to the stage where he won't be able to perform anymore.
No, he won't really get booked. I think he's banking on the fact that he can go out and do his own fights.
Yeah.
He'll be like, fuck it, I don't need anyone. But you know what? UFC is like the WWE. Hulk Hogan and Flair thought they could do it. They thought, we'll put on our own matches.
Yeah, without him. Never takes off.
No, it never does.
Sometimes you need the machine.
You do, and the UFC is that machine.
At the moment, though, UFC is sort of in need of a big star, because at the moment it's just become just another sport.
Yeah.
When there was Pride, the Japanese one, they at least, because it came from a pro wrestling background, they knew how to build stars.
Yeah.
You know, so remember when Pride shut down and all those Pride guys came over to UFC, like, you know, Rampage, Vanderlei Silva, Crow Cop and stuff like that. You're like, oh my God, these guys are amazing. Until they actually stepped in there with other guys that were talented and you went, oh, Crow Cop's really not that good. But what they did in Japan was they did it like pro wrestling.
Yeah.
If you saw Crow Cop versus, what was the big Russian guy's name? This is annoying me. This is really.
Oh, you're talking about the undefeated guy until more
yes,
recently?
What's his name?
The bald guy.
Yeah.
You should have asked about it.
Send us a message. Let us know, yeah. Could actually stop and just Google it, but I'm not going to.
no, that's not.
I'm going to let everyone sitting at home going, oh, his name is blah, 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 blah.
I see his ugly bald head, man.
Yeah, you know the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Big, dirty hook left that he'd hit people with. But when they fought each other, everyone was like, oh, this is a big deal because, you know, this guy's undefeated. Fedor Emelianenko.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh,
Yeah.
feels good.
That's always good, isn't it, man?
Yeah.
We didn't cop out. We didn't Google.
Yeah, no, we did well.
Yeah.
But, when they finally fought each other, it was like, oh my God, this is a big fight because, you know, Fedor's undefeated and Crow Cop's record 9-2.
Yeah.
Now, in that 9-2, you will see a lot of fighters that were 0-11, you know, 1-6.
So they built it. They
They
like a
put him
wrestler.
with absolute tin cans. They would do that regularly in Japan. They would put these guys in these fights against, like, just, you know, scumbags, tune-up fights, you know, jobbers, and build the record up. So they'd get those highlight knockouts, you know, and like the big left kick, bam, like get people on the head. Everyone's like, oh my God, this guy's incredible. So then when you finally saw him against the big guy, you're going to pay big money. It was wrestling booking.
That
it worked.
is old days wrestling booking.
The problem, like I said, with you know, they did that a bit to an extent in the UFC in the early days because, you know, it was still, even though guys, you know, had to learn how to mix everything, guys were still known as stand-up fighters versus grapplers and this and that.
Right.
But the problem is now everyone just knows everything, and it's almost gotten to a stalemate that anyone can beat anyone on any day, and there's no one that really stands out from the bunch.
That's right, yeah. Because in the old days, it was literally like the pub fighter versus the karate guy, the jiu-jitsu guy versus the boxing guy.
Yeah.
Now you can go and train MMA.
Yeah. And that's sort of, and as I said, unless you're bringing that personality to the table, you've actually just got nothing. So,
yeah. Anyway, just quickly before we move on, do you see CM Punk might get another match? And they're going to put him against the guy who lost against the guy who beat... Remember, so Mickey Gall, the guy who beat the shit out of him for a minute and a half, that he beat a guy called something Jackson, Michael Jackson or something, Mick Jackson.
Yeah.
I think CM Punk's going to fight that guy, the guy who lost.
Okay.
In a who gives a fuck of a match, you know,
right.
like...
CM Punk, mate, just come back at All In. Go do that independent wrestling show. I'm sure you'll have a lot more fun.
Oh, yeah.
Just stay away from it. I don't know. I've never really seen him as an athlete, so he never really had an athletic build to me, so probably not a good idea. But we're going to move on to just a quick topic. Just a news flash that came up today. Popped in to get a coffee at Larry and Lad. Good shop. Go get some coffee from there. But the boys told me that there's a new movie that's popped up on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
We got Life.
Life. Hallelujah.
It's about time, and now I'm glad that everyone comes to us as the sort of the spokesman for that movie, you know. And as soon as everyone's seen Life, they're coming back to us and going, "Hey, Steve, that's a great movie." It's like, yeah, no shit. Yeah.
We've been talking about it for 20 years.
It actually came out in the 90s, and we still love it.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you guys are going to go see Great White Hype and go, "Hey, you know, these are really quality films. They're really funny."
Yeah, or MacGruber.
Yeah, that's a deafening silence there, Steve. Admittedly, I could have helped you out there, but I chose not to.
No, well played.
But even I had like my man Tim came into the gym today, and he told me he'd seen Live because it popped up on Netflix, and he said he finally understands some of the sound bites of the intro. So,
yes.
With that, I said, if you want to decipher the rest of them, you might need to go watch Great White Hype as well, and then the whole thing will make sense. But you know, that's quality stuff that we both agree on.
Definitely, and kind of chuck in there. The other night, I was on the Xbox.
Yep.
And the wife goes, "Oh, you wanna come to bed?" It's like 9 o'clock. I said, "Nah, I'm pretty happy with the Xbox." So okay. And then in the background, she played this well, by the way. I could hear the theme music of Coming to America.
Oh.
Like the African kind of light singing when he gets up and gets dressed. Yeah.
And the royal penis is playing.
Yeah. So she, well played.
Yeah.
That was, and I turned the Xbox off, and straight away I was in there. You don't say no to Coming to America.
Oh, you don't. You definitely don't.
When it's on.
Yeah.
And it was her choice. I didn't say it. Like, she just turned it on. I was like, man, you're a keeper.
Well, speaking of the wife turning it on,
Yes.
and not in that sort of sense, there's been a recent thing I I'm not proud of.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like I have a girlfriend now, and
Are you official?
oh yeah, official. I can't use that joke anymore about
Okay.
just knowing a girl. That would be mad if I said I didn't have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
But she doesn't mind, doesn't seek it out, but doesn't mind a bit of the old trash TV. So recently, I've watched Maths, Married at First Sight, for those that aren't initiated,
Dude.
and now I've been drawn into Bachelor in Paradise. Now, these are the things that while I'm sitting on my phone playing tap sports baseball like a real man, I found myself putting the phone down and staring at the TV because of the drama, quote unquote drama, that is taking place on my screen. Now, Stephen, I know I'm not alone in this. I've made a pretty ballsy confession.
Yeah, it is. That is crazy,
on this show.
man.
Our listener will be very happy to hear that. But I just want to know, Steve, has the wife, she sucked you in with Coming to America,
Yeah.
but has she ever drawn you in or made you watch anything, or do you have any shows that are somewhat of a guilty pleasure that you haven't mind watching?
Well, first of all, let me say, that's dreadful. I think he brought this up. He brought this up because I think he wants me to justify it's being okay.
I can't be the only one.
It's not okay, man. Okay, it's not okay. However, I do need to say,
Friends don't let friends watch reality TV.
look, me and the wife were together a long time, and it's one of we don't have many issues, but this is one of them. Is the garbage she watches, and she watches all of it.
Yeah,
all of the garbage is on the TV.
give us a rundown. Give us the because like I said, one of my friends over in Melbourne, Luke, him and his wife Kate will admit she knows it's stupid, it's terrible TV, but she'll run down the list: teen mums, dance mums, blah 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 blah. She loves I remember one a couple of years ago. She made me watch My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding. Like if it's
She's a
shit,
winner.
if it's reality, she's watching it and she'll admit it. But
Okay.
yeah, what's the worst? Give us
Well,
the
that's
rundown
the worst. You just named the worst. I'm glad that the wife does not watch any of that. No, she watches The Housewives. All of The Housewives.
Oh, you're kidding.
Atlanta, New York, Jersey, and
Has she
all
got
of them.
Has she
all
got a
of them.
favourite, or she just enjoys it all?
She enjoys it, but the one that's on TV now, and she likes it so much, she watches reruns.
Oh no, Jonah.
Beverly
no.
Hills now. I think it's Beverly Hills. Yeah, Beverly Hills, Orange County, one of them two. So it's in there, like, it's at least a Vanderpump. So she has another show.
Yeah, Vanderpump Rules.
Vanderpump Rules. So
Yeah.
that back to back, she watches them all.
Oh no.
She used to watch Loves the Block.
Yeah.
Which, and The Block, I don't mind that being on TV because the construction part of it I do enjoy. The My Kitchen Rules
Just
thing.
watching a couple of blokes playing with a tool.
My Kitchen Rules was at one point half decent.
I
I don't
used
mind
to
the
be in
food.
My Kitchen Rules, guys. I've recently fallen away from it.
The
but
producers ruined it. They thought, once again, they went, hang on a second. Drama is what sells this show, not
Yeah.
the food. So that's just going down the toilet.
it became the pro wrestling booking again.
That's
with
right,
That
they
show.
did,
It was just
yeah.
like every year it just seemed like there was the foreign heel. Like, oh, these guys are like this year. It's like, oh, these girls are from Russia. They're no
Yeah.
good. It's like, oh, fucking come on. Like you had the bad Asian girls a couple of years ago. Before that was the mean Indian girls.
Yeah.
They had the sort of angry Italian guys. It was like, we get it. And this is
Yeah.
like wrestling booking from the 80s.
Right. So she watches. So we don't have My Kitchen Rules anymore. But the ones that she watches are the Vanderpump and the Wives, and your show, The Bachelor.
Bachelor.
And her and a girlfriend, they text each other during The Bachelor and stuff like that.
God.
Now, the thing is, right, I spoke to the wife about this last night. I said, we've got the podcast today, and I think we're going to be talking about this. And she goes, which shows are you going to name which give you a bit of credit? I was like, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, you watch Bachelor. I said, shut the fuck. I don't watch Bachelor.
Do you watch Bachelor?
I do not watch Bachelor. There's a difference of...
And you're like, I watch The Bachelorette. It's a lot different program.
there's a difference of me, like, of sitting down and watching a TV show and enjoying it, to another point of me sitting there sarcastically commentating the show, to a point of where I almost get booted out of the lounge room.
Yeah, because this is one thing I will vouch for. You cannot watch anything with Steve without him talking to the TV. It's like, I don't know if you know Steve, but this has already been recorded and they can't hear you. But Steve likes to talk at the TV. Don't ask me why. It's a weird thing.
So basically, I'll commentate it, and but that doesn't mean I'm watching it.
Yeah.
But there are two shows I will admit where I will even watch it. Like it was a period of time in my life, I would have watched it even if Jonah wasn't there.
Yeah.
And that was the Jersey Shore and the Geordie Shore.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually found them quite entertaining. I actually, like, the guys were pretty funny.
I got behind Jersey Shore, to be honest.
I think you wanted to be a cast member. You would have fit in just fine.
There was a couple of years there where I may have been able to get a Guernsey. But...
He's the original situation over here, man. He is the original situation.
I saw myself more as a Ronnie, but I didn't enjoy Geordie Shore purely because I just thought it's a rip-off of Jersey Shore, and the fact that I lived in Greece for 4 months hosting parties, and I pretty much lived Geordie Shore for 4. Like, I had those type of kids coming to the parties, and it's just like, once you've been around those people for more than 5 days, you want to headbutt all of them.
Well, the Geordie Shore, I was in the same boat. I don't like rip-offs, and I wasn't going to watch it in principle, but I actually found that was a bit more entertaining.
Yeah.
The English guys, that humour, I could
English bands will always be a bit better than just meatheads.
The meathead, So the other two, I'd admit to watching it, and another one I do love watching. I haven't watched it in years, but I love it, and I always wanted to be on it. Was Survivor.
Yeah,
I loved
it's
Survivor.
Still going.
I know,
they
but
do Australian Survivor.
Yeah, I know, and people who watch it now, who I used to tell about 15 years ago, you go down to Survivor, and they told me to rack off. They watched it today.
Yeah,
I think I've just watched so many seasons of it.
Well, it's been going for almost 20 years now.
Oh yeah, it's like The Simpsons. It's because they go 2 seasons a year.
Yeah,
so they're up to about season 35 or something. It's just mental. Great show. That the host.
Do you watch the Australian one or just the American one?
No, I watched the American one. The Australian one. Once you miss 1 or 2 episodes, then I think you're behind.
Yeah,
and unless you're going to sit and catch up, and I couldn't be bothered catching up. So, but yeah, I loved Survivor. I wish I could have went on the American one. I love that Jeff Probst guy.
Yeah,
he's one of the coolest cats going around, man. And he's like anyone. I couldn't imagine anyone else hosting that show. Yeah, and including LaPaglia's brother or whatever it is, the brother-in-law or whatever.
It's Anthony LaPaglia's little brother. It's not the old. It's John. We're gonna get a singer. It's John Stamos, his brother. But yeah, that's who it is. And I like the fact that I think it's Jonathan LaPaglia. He's tried to do I host Survivor, so I have to speak in this voice, and I have a beard, almost like I'm on Survivor. It's like, mate, get rid of the fucking beard. Like, the guy in the American one, at least clean shaven. He doesn't try to act like he's part of the show.
Nah.
Oh, I know what you guys are going through as I go back to my hotel room.
I love. So I'm not a reality. I hate the Housewives. I actually I get angry. And the other one, which just reminded me, because I think of these people as no talent hacks. Yeah. Who are exploiting the fact that they got money and they don't like each other. They go to dinner all the time. It's like, what the fuck? This whole thing is rubbish. The ones that started it for it was the Hills, Laguna Beach, and the fucking Kardashians, who all have their own spin-off shows now. It's a snowball, and it's a reflection of society, Speed.
There we go. Very profound stuff.
There we go. I knew I was coming around eventually to something there, but yeah, it's this. Conor McGregor. I'll be surprised if he doesn't have a fucking reality TV show.
I'm sure he's got one of the worst.
Brandishing his jewelry, his money, that high lifestyle. That bothers me, man. Yeah. It does. Yeah.
Because the thing is, that's the thing. You try to figure out what Kim Kardashian's famous for. She's famous for being famous. There's no real talent there. So that's the hard thing to get your head around. But she's turned that into a multi-million-dollar industry. Yeah. So, good luck to her. And she's married to Kanye, who's a very talented man.
And she had that sex tape.
Yeah, I have.
Ray J.
Yeah, I may have seen that one. Maybe.
I've never seen that one 17 times. Yeah. But Ray J didn't come famous out of that, unfortunately.
Well, I do enjoy, there was a joke I heard from a comedian say Ray J was the one that did that sex tape. Ray J also, it's bad, but he was there when Whitney died. He was also...
Oh, was he?
He also launched, he has a sex tape with someone else. There's 2 or 3 girls that he sort of launched from sex tapes. And so I heard a comedian once say that Ray J's dicks launched more careers in the movie The Outsiders.
Oh, wow.
Which I thought was a very good game. Yeah. And if anyone's too young to understand The Outsiders, just chuck it in the old IMDb and you will see the cavalcade of superstars in that one. And then you will need to stay Golden Pony Boy. But
stay golden. Oh, yeah. Nice.
So then if you're wanting to go on Survivor, Steve, I think this could be a thing. I think we might need to start a bit of groundswell over the over the podcast, start over Facebook. We need to get a petition going to get Steve to sign up to apply to be on Survivor.
Yeah.
You know, and like I had my little game show moment the other day. No, I'm not going to talk about it. You know, confidentiality agreement. You'll hear about it once it goes to air. But I think we need to, because purely for two reasons. One, I'd like to just get a bit of support and, you know, see how many people would be keen to see you on Survivor.
Yeah.
Two, if we've got some sort of petition and support and a lot of people sort of counting on it, that's probably the only way that Jonah's going to allow him to go onto Survivor. So we need to get everyone behind it, because if there's at least, you know, 500 people that are like, yes, we want to see Steve apply for Survivor, then she's going to have to be like, all right, fine, fucking go on Survivor.
Yeah.
So, and then we get to watch you on TV.
Yeah.
What would you be, are you be one of the game playing guys, or would you, because there's only one show I wanted to be on, and that was The Amazing Race.
Oh, yes.
And me and old mate Slater did try out for it, got through to the last round of casting. Yeah, this is years ago. The last season they ran.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
we
cool.
got through the last round of casting, and they kind of, you know, said thank you, but, you know, we've gone with other people, because it was the Australia-New Zealand one. And then I remember watching in the TV, and there was like the two friends from New Zealand. You know, there's always
they were
like
your guys'
father, son. But
competition.
yeah, that would have been the spot they would have put us in. And we're like, those two fucking suck. You know?
Yeah.
And that was the last season they ran. They haven't run Amazing Race since then.
Ah.
But yeah, so that was the only show that I ever wanted to be on. But what would be your game plan to
Look, to be honest,
Survivor?
I'll probably go down as the greatest Survivor player of all time.
Oh,
I've watched it so
Look, I don't want to call my shot here, but you know how that thing that I've never done before? Well, let me just tell you something. I would be the GOAT.
I'm very competitive, and I expect in the old days, I thought, you know, I'd be like the athletic one. Obviously, I'm a little bit aged now,
Yeah,
so I'm going to be the middle-aged, somewhat in shape athletic guy.
Just got the old man strength, you know?
yeah, that's right. Give it a bit over the hill, but can still roll with
He's
it.
grizzled, you know? Like, yeah. He won't be able to hold on with strength,
That's
more so
right.
just grizzled, just determination and a hatred for young folk. That will get him over the line.
That's right. And then, you know, I've watched so much of it. I've seen every game being played.
Yeah.
I think I've got the strategy down.
Would you want to start your own faction? Would you just join in with somebody else's and then
Man,
backstab them?
it'd be NWO, man.
You reckon you're throwing up at gang signs as well, like hand signs? Like just two sweating people?
Yeah,
Like,
it's going to be mad. I can't wait. But my
if your tribe Alagawa, you're Alagawa for life. Is that what it's going to be, Steve? We get some of
I'm
that.
giving away my shit, man.
So really, you're not actually that good at this. I could probably do the same job.
You watch, they're going to be like, Steve, we don't want you. We want speed. They're much more fitter looking.
Oh, mate, there's no chance I'd go on that one. Oh,
the eating thing?
Not even the eating thing. If I don't brush my teeth first thing in the morning, I am the grumpiest fucking man in the world. Yeah, going however long without brushing your teeth, mate. Oh, yeah no.
But I did always wonder, because I used to smoke in the old days. I always used to wonder, like, how am I going to scan the cigarettes onto the island and shit like that? And, you know, like, how do they do that? I'm going to jam them up the bum and stuff like that. And then, where's Steve goes? Like,
no one else can, like, everyone else needs to, like, win the immunity challenge to get fire. Steve can, the only person that can make fire from rocks because he's that desperate for a dart. He's just gonna...
And they'd be like, okay, the challenge today is to do this and this. The reward is a carton of Escort balloons. And I'd be like,
yeah, you're like standing there on like balancing on one beam on like one foot, like holding a boulder, just like I've got to win this. I need the Winnie Blues.
But that's not required anymore.
No,
I've quit for some time, about 10 years now. But the one I'm more curious about is what's going to be my backstory.
Okay.
Because I think I'm going to create something, which is one of the great.
Are you going to tug at heartstrings? Are we going to make up some sort of rumor that he's a widower? He's a single father of two. He's doing it for them. It's like Jonah sitting there standing there going, "Nah, I'm not actually dead, but I'm over here." Oh no, yeah, my wife's gone. She's left me. I'm heartbroken. Tears.
This is all I got. This is all I got in my life. My dream of Survivor. And there was a character years and years ago. His name was Johnny Fairplay.
Yeah,
you may have heard of him.
Yeah,
he ended up
was
on the independent wrestling.
Yeah, he was apparently an independent wrestler before he got involved.
Right.
So,
Okay.
So he had the gimmick going already.
He was, look, there's been some memorable characters in that show, and he was one of them. The one that he did do, which was remarkable, if you get to a certain point of time in the show, they usually bring a loved one on.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, you know, to pull the heartstrings and stuff. So there's about 8 people left, and he had organised it with his buddy.
Yeah.
Because, look, if I get this far, when you rock up, don't be all happy and elated to see me. Be sad because Grandma died.
Oh.
So, but Grandma never died.
Oh.
It was a storyline. So the dude rocked up, like, hey, Greg, here's your wife, Janine. And they were like, oh, hugged each other. Oh, this is so beautiful. John, here's your best friend, Terry. And Terry rocks up. He's like, she died, man. She didn't make it. She was trying to make it to what? And then he's like, no way. And they played it so well. And what happened is that got him through the next few rounds because people were like, we can't vote off the dude whose grandma just died.
Yeah.
But he did. So that, mate, that kind of stuff, that can be played into your, you'd be the jerk of the show.
Oh, for sure.
You'd be the arsehole. But I'm happy to be cast as that guy.
Yeah.
The grizzled,
Get off my lawn.
Get off.
Yeah. You really are just turning into Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to come and tell me that joke from the start of the movie next week. Do you remember the movie?
Oh, the Gran Torino, yeah.
There's the joke that he does right at the start. He goes...
I'm assuming it's racist.
Oh, it's very racist.
Yeah.
It's an Asian, a black guy, and a Jew walk into a bar. Bartender looks up and says, get the fuck out of here. It's just the most horrendous joke I've ever heard. But I think Steve's going to be using that to at dinner parties coming up soon. That's the road he's heading down.
So how do we start this petition? How do we get it started? Because
Well,
I'm
to be
really
honest
down
with you, we're both pretty retarded when it comes to doing anything online. So we may need one of our beautiful, loyal listener to set up one of those, I don't know, one of those little online petition
Polls
accounts.
things?
That
Oh,
sort
petition,
of thing.
yeah.
Start one. Get it done. Get some signatures. We'll share it around. You'd
Yeah.
be surprised how many people will sign some useless shit on the internet. So we need to make this thing sort of viral. So if anyone could set that up for us, that would be really cool. Shags, looking at you, mate.
Assuming he's listened all the way through
Oh,
this
mate,
episode, do you think?
he's got nothing else to do. So we need to get that set up. We will start. Even Scotty, my cousin Scotty, who's having a bit of banter right now. We enjoy the banter between Scotty and Brett.
Oh, what's that? Well, tell us about the banter.
Oh, we've got the discussion of whether Jason Statham is quality.
Yeah, that's right. He said he's the best today, didn't he?
Best
Didn't he say
action
the
star.
best action star today? Thoughts on that?
Until he beats The Rock.
I was gonna
like
say,
The Rock. I
man.
mean, and The Rock's movies are terrible for the most part, but The Rock is the number one action star. The same
Yeah.
way that, we go back to Rose-Colored Glasses, Schwarzenegger's movies are terrible. But
No.
Steve,
But we're gonna
we
start
don't need
this
to get,
again,
we don't
aren't
need to get
we?
into this now. But if you look at it, they're not great. As far as what's the name of the characters of the
Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, okay, other than Conan the Barbarian, what's his name?
T-1000.
Yeah, exactly. He played a fucking robot. The only one I remember is Dutch.
Dutch from
Yeah,
Predator.
Predator. But
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. Is Commando.
Mr. Commando.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's not a great character actor.
No.
But that's saying same as The Rock. Like you think about The Rock's the best. His action movies are sick. What's his best movie? You're like, fuck. I mean, Statham had some classics because he came out with those Guy Ritchie movies to start with. Lock, Stock, and Snatch. And he was incredible.
So
in those.
good.
And it was the charisma that got him over the line.
Oh, yeah.
Then it became, he's an action star.
Yeah.
And then that's when, the Transporter 1 through 97 came out. And The Mechanic, which just seemed like the Transporter with a different name. And then he was... The two movies that sort of won me and lost me, but kind of half won me, because I love stupidity. Crank, the one where he has to keep his heart rate up, and so all the funny stuff that happened in trying to do that. Now, the two things that made me laugh really loud in that movie... One, he's in a driving chase scene in a car and stuff, and there's people shooting at him, and he's obviously adrenaline's pumped, and his girlfriend's in the car with him, and she tries to get his heart rate up too, so she starts blowing him.
I've not seen this film. Yeah.
So all of a sudden he's getting he's still dodging bullets and driving his car fast. She's blowing him. Then as he's about to finish, she just pulls up and stops, and he goes, "What are you doing?" She goes, "Well, you fall asleep after you finish," and he just goes, "Fuck!" and just starts banging the steering. So that was really funny.
That is
I
funny.
like the concept of that.
That is funny.
There's a couple of good moments in it. But then the end of the movie, I'm going to ruin it for you. Spoilers, Steve.
I'm not going to watch this.
Yeah, okay. He falls out of a helicopter.
Okay.
Now he calls her on the way down.
Mid-flight?
Mid-flight while he's falling.
Yeah.
Sort of apologises. And he lands on the guy that he jumps out. He's already dead that he's thrown out of the helicopter. So him and this guy that he's killed have fallen out of the helicopter. And he just calls her and then he lands on him.
That sounds
He's
brilliant.
dead in the movie. Yeah, no worries. Then they brought out Crank 2 because they obviously went, well, this is a good concept. Let's make another one because the first one obviously made money on a small budget. And it just said Crank 2 on the poster, on the video. I remember I used to work at a video store, I love video stores. It said on the poster, Crank 2, he got better. Well, he died in the first one. So I don't know how much better you can get from dying, but apparently you can. It's just like a video game. You just get
better.
It's
better than dying is not dead.
That's what I was thinking too. But apparently in the Crank universe, it's just like Grand Theft Auto. You just get wasted and start again.
So is that the last checkpoint?
But to settle your argument there, Scotty, the Statham is good. He's had some moments, but he's just not. I don't think he'll ever be. I mean, you see him on screen in Fast and Furious with The Rock, and you can just see there's a huge difference there. Same way that they said, like, if you watch the honest trailers they did for Fast and Furious, they're like, Vin Diesel's a passable action star, until you put him on screen with The Rock, then he just pales in comparison. And like you thought Vin Diesel was this cool, jacked, and then you see him next to The Rock, you're like, wow, you got nothing.
It's kind of like when me and Speed stand next to each other. I'm like, I'm not The Rock, and he's like Vin Diesel.
Oh, thanks, man.
Was that believable?
Yeah, no one's buying that. No one's buying that one. But that's gonna answer. So we do love Jason Statham. I will watch it. I'm not going to go out and see something just because he's in it. But if he is in it, it's more likely to get me to continue to watching it. If you're flicking channels and you see a movie and you go, Jason Statham, I might stay for a while, see what's going on.
See what happens.
Yeah. So that answers your question there. So that's going to be us for this week. Please, anyone, Brett, Scotty, Jags, Benny, anyone, just set us up. Even my man Scott, my client Scott, the other electric lawnmower connoisseur, he works in IT. Mate, you know how to do this sort of shit. Set us our online petition. We need to get Steve onto Australian Survivor, at least trying to apply for it. That's our goal for this week. But for Speaker, I want to say goodbye. For Steve Burrows,
see you later.
We'll speak to you next week. Peace.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.